weiß Bescheid. Intendo.
Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast on the planet. Prepare to reevaluate everything you've been taught.
Last week we touched on synchronicities, amongst other things. A lot of other things. It wasn't last week, so it was last Monday. I really liked that episode. I thought it was punchy. It was clearly something that was on my chest, and I didn't even realize it was on my chest until I started recording, and then it just took over. This is the stuff that just fell out. I love those episodes. To me, those are therapeutic and cathartic. I get the opportunity to have, I guess, the conversations that I wish I could have with other people, but with myself, because there's so many people that think I'm crazy. And because they think I'm crazy, though, it's interesting because they think I'm crazy, I'm then forced to articulate my thoughts that much better. I was also always raised in a household where my mother would forever ask follow-up questions. And I thought as a child she was grilling me. But as an adult, I this is still happening, and I'm curious as to what it really is. I have my theories. But as a child, it was very intimidating. I thought she was ultra smart and grilling me through my bullshit because I was lying a lot as a kid. But now I don't lie, period, about anything, ever. And to be grilled suspiciously, or so it would perceive itself to be. In other words, her habits never changed. Mom, if you're listening, I love you. Her habits never changed, but my perception of her habits changed, which means she then became less nefarious as I adapted my observation skills. Interesting. I honestly don't even remember how I got on that tangent, but I'm only like a minute and a half into this, so let's just slide into that tangent without any edits. I love synchronicities. I love observations. I love growth. I love comprehension. I love understanding where I am and what I'm doing. More so, and not understanding what somebody wants me to do. You know, like your whole younger life, you're in school, you're learning the things they need you to learn. You're doing this, you're doing that. You've got a job. You got to do what they want you to do. This bullshit is what it is. Right? Until you find your purpose and your passion. People say, oh, but I can't find that because I'm working 9 to 5. And then I go home and I turn on the Kardashians, right? Now, here's the thing. We're tricked. We are tricked into thinking that what we're doing is important, i.e. our job. And that it's okay to go home and unwind. And if you're making a lot of money and you're super happy making a lot of money and you have no other questions and you have no other anything, good. Stick with what you're doing. Have a good time. I can guarantee you, however, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably not ultra happy with your life and how things are going, and you have certain other questions. I'm not saying you're miserable. I'm just saying that the life that you've led has shown you that some trickery is afoot. Gosh darn it. And to me, that's exciting. That's when life really gets to begin. So now you have all these proclivities. You have all these ideas and all these things that you can do and change and grow. You get on the internet and you say, I've turned off the Kardashians. I've changed a little bit of my diet. I've got a little bit more energy. I'm focused on a few things. Where do I get started? And then the internet hits you. And this is where I'm so overwhelmed. And it's funny because I'm in the industry. I'm technically a life coach, but I cannot stand the term life coach. The only term that I've heard that best defines me without sounding stupid. Wait, no, it sounds stupid. Without sounding like I'm better than you or aggressive or I could coach you or I can help you. I mean, yes, I can help you. but only if you yourself decide I can help you, which is kind of like you helping yourself. None of my stuff, none of my marketing stuff is out there with regards to our services. We occasionally talk about it. And if you guys want to look into it, head over to thementalmasteryalliance.com. Feel free. And that's the best way to do it. If any of you guys listening to this show right now find that, I want to know more, I want to hear more, I want to know what he's doing. I've made the choice that I like what this guy's got to say. I want to know what else he's doing. All of that stuff's there. All of the links are tied into all that sort of stuff. And that's how we want it. Because to me, I think everything's overdone. Even this podcast is overdone. We're doing it 2 times a week now. I don't know if you guys have heard that. Twice a week we're airing these things. Is that overdone? Is that overkill? No, because the more this shit keeps getting pulled away and retracted and changing, and the universe is just getting weirder and weirder and weirder, I feel that the more I have to say about certain things, and it's not about certain events, like we glanced right over the Georgia Guidestones, and this is one of those things that was like a big deal back in the day, and I liked it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was neat, but I'm like, it's played out, and this is what I was talking about. We got the red skies over China, we had the green skies over North Dakota, we had the Georgia Guidestones blow up, and people are asking, what are the Guidestones? What's this? What's that? And there just comes a point in time in your sort of in your journey where you're like, fuck, enough. Enough is enough is enough. I'm sick of this shit. And it's funny because it's all happening to me at once. I'm like, I'm sick of the marketing. I'm sick of seeing people because of the field that I'm in. The stuff that I see on social media and all that media is like, these are the guys doing this thing. How to make $1 million online? How to do this? What's the best way to do this? And how do you? And I think to myself, this stuff is so great to a degree. Right? Because the problem with money and trying to make money is that money in and of itself is the thing that keeps us miserable. No matter how much money you have, no matter how much money you make, you can still be miserable by saying, I could have had a little bit more. Or this isn't enough. But when you follow your passion and your purpose, and when you create and when you dictate your own true path through trial and error and accepting that you're going to fail and those failures are going to become your lessons, these are the things that change the way you perceive what you're perceiving. And I think everything's played out. And it's funny because I'm maybe I sound aggressive. I'm sick of it. Yes. But it's not so much it's going to change, because it's not going to change. It's not supposed to change. Right? All of that stuff is phenomenal when you first need it to be there, because now you have all these options. Unfortunately, there's a lot of shysters everywhere. But that's not just this industry. That's every single industry. You guys remember when there was a scam phone call and you're like, wow, that was the weirdest thing. I got a scam phone call. Now 99.487% of your phone calls are scam, and your phone catches it and just redirects it. Nobody has the time to call anybody. So if your phone's ringing, it's probably a scam. And that's weird. Anyway. See? Too many of that shit now. We've been oversaturated with that. The scams are afoot. And yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm having a laugh at myself, because I'm like, everything is absolutely played out. And a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, Jareth Anthony, he shared a link with me, and this goes right back to Synchronicity. I look at this and I'm like, man, this is where I am. And it's not even like a negative thing. It isn't a negative thing, because, again, like I said, all that stuff exists. What it means is that I need to step up. I need to have more experiences. I need to change fundamentally everything about what I'm doing to rearrange the algorithm that is my life. Not just the algorithm that is on the internet, because the internet's algorithm is merely responding to my algorithm. And that's pretty cool. So here comes the synchronicities. Again, my algorithm. My life algorithm speaking to me through meme. Jareth, thank you for this. This read, and I love it, and it comes from the account FindTheOthers_, which is a solid account. So shout out to you, my friend. I just came across your stuff. I like it. I'm going to share this as the cover page of this Meow episode, Meow. And it reads, I'm tired of money. I'm tired of the system. I'm tired of the politics, the celebrities, the experts, religions, and gods. I'm tired of the unconscious, dishonest, avoidant, band-aid fixing, instant gratification seeking, mentally dominating the collective psyche. I'm tired of society. I'm tired of capitalizing on another's loss. I'm tired of how the news reporters speak the same. I'm tired of the Truman Show. I'm tired of the vernacular in the syntactical manner of my culture. I'm tired of trends. I'm tired of people acting spiritual. I'm tired of people marketing self-help, 100%. Monetarily profiting off the vulnerability of others. I'm tired of explaining a perspective to those who do not care to understand. I'm tired of lies. I'm tired of the arrogant, fragile egos exerting dominance. I'm tired of the hypocrites refusing to admit the contradictions of their morality. I'm tired of overly sensitive individuals who can't take a joke. I'm tired of reality. I'm tired of words. Blah. And I read that, and it's so funny because I don't read that as a negative. I read that as a bold statement. And this guy, this looks to be original content. I'm assuming he didn't jack it from somewhere. He's speaking a phrase that so many people need to speak. I'm in the self-help industry. I can't stand the idea of selling my services. However, to get results, most people have to contribute themselves, mind, body, soul, and financially. Because anyone can walk away. And if you want to get results, you need to commit somebody to a lot of things, which is where the idea of money comes from. I see so many people out there being like, I've got to make all this millions and millions of dollars. I've got to make sure that my kids are taken care of, my kids' kids, and generational wealth, and I'm breaking curses. Bro, if you're happy, get out there and do it, but don't tell yourself these bullshit stories. And don't make it seem normal that everybody needs to make $1 quadrillion, because that's fucking stupid. You need to live the life that you want to live, that life being one of existence and one of cultural freedoms and one of expansion and growth and experience. If all you want to do is make money and you're happy, do it. Just do it. But understand that that's very few and far between, right? True happiness and true peace comes from the ability to curate your passions, curate your time, curate the life you need to live. I am sick of the industry that I work in. I'm sick of all this sort of stuff. If I could just walk away from all of it and simply sit here and podcast for you guys, I would. And we're working towards that. But we want to help. So what do? That's, I think, the difference. We don't aggressively market. We just don't do it. We speak to what you need to speak on when you need to speak on it. If you like what you're hearing, reach out. We'll reply. We connect with you when you're ready to connect. And I think that the rest of the world would behoove itself to function that way, I say. But at the same time, I can't. Actually, I'm going to negate what I just said. I think that I've been in a spot where I have witnessed enough of what I've witnessed to know that it's time for me to turn off the internet. Because I don't want to see these guys pushing their wares. I don't want to see these snake oil salesmen selling shit. I don't want to see these guys just constantly being something somewhere. And it's probably my observation. But if that's my observation, because that's my algorithm, what are you seeing? What are you seeing that you're sick of? Right? And even out of the business side of things, the conspiracy side of things, I love conspiracies. I love a conspiracy that's going to make you think. Like the most recent Britney Spears one was crazy. That whole Britney Spears, her video, Baby One More Time. Her whole entire outfit to me is different. And that's fascinating. It doesn't mean that my life is going to change in any way, shape, or form. But if my brain, saw that video 1 billion times as a child, misremembers what she was wearing. How is that even possible? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, just picture that Britney video in your head and then just go check out, just punch it into Google. Look at her outfit. What? That's not what? Anyway, these are the mesmerizing things that I love. Those types of conspiracies. The other ones, the Georgia Guidestones, let's talk about them briefly. There's that clip that was released to the internet which was just the Guidestone blowing up. I mean, come on. We get a 3-second click of this thing blowing up. Clearly the camera's pointed at it. What happened before the explosion? Who set it up? Did somebody fire a missile at it? You know? The funny thing is, all of the things that we can think and all of the things that we're allowed to talk about in this grand world of ours, even the conspiracies are fabricated. So you're allowed to talk about these things and you're allowed to talk about the conspiracies, because if you only talk about these things, and if you think the conspiracies are where it ends, then you'll never look past that into what truly is going on. And that to me is the ultimate. And that's where I'm headed right now. I'm headed into a world that's beyond conspiracy, if that makes sense. Like, the conspiracies were a really solid eye-opener, and they're a lot of fun. But the truth is, they're so consistent, and when you extrapolate upon certain things like the Mandela effect and deeper into conversations of science and gravity, and when you're watching the media, how every single thing that you've ever seen in the media recently is just completely played out and manipulated and contrived, and you see things like Ghislaine Maxwell getting 20 years for child sex trafficking, which means that she clearly was guilty of child sex trafficking, yet they won't tell you who she trafficked to. Epstein's number one guy. And then you see Epstein and Gates and all this stuff. Then you see Gates buying up all his land. Then you see all this sort of stuff. You realize that it's all intertwined, all of it, every last thing of it. Like Oprah Winfrey's disappeared. She randomly does these shows. All of Hollywood, you know, they're all sort of tied into it somehow. And then people can say, oh, poo-poo, nah. Right? And you can have that argument, and you can get lost in that argument. And you say to yourself, oh boy, here we are having this dumb argument again. And it's true. But then you can look past all of it and go, connected. And then infuriating connected. Why did R. Kelly get 30 years? Arbitrarily 10 more years than Ghislaine Maxwell. After all these years. After everyone even knew in the 90s and flat out accepted. I mean, R. Kelly peeing on people was a joke. Right? But then it was kids, it was this, it was that. It was a joke. Nobody gave a shit. Until people started giving a shit. But even giving a shit, quote unquote, is aggression. The way it's delivered. It's division. People blaming people. So even the conspiracies. You're blind and you're oblivious, and then you hate the people talking the conspiracies, and then the conspiracy people hate each other for talking different points, and low vibration continues. The really neat thing is understanding that once you get past the vibration, once you sort of start seeing into synchronicities, once you start seeing it all, there comes something else. And here we sit right now, ladies and gentlemen. I am recording this on, and you are hearing this on July 21st. I sit at the precipice of something bigger. I personally sit at the precipice of something bigger. And I'm going to go out into that big dark night. And I'm going to take my torch with me, and I'm going to shine a light on all these weird things. And I don't know what that means, but I do know that it means that I'm changing. I'm adapting. I'm growing. I'm becoming more aggressive in the terms of achieving the things that I want to achieve. And having the experiences I want to have. And breaking free from all of the things that I need to break free from. And every single person will get there at some point in their lives, whenever they need to. But the cool thing is, I'm past the point of conspiracies. I'm past the point of boring, bland bullshit talk. I'm past the point of business. I'm observing a world that's forever adapting and growing up and becoming such a much more beautiful version of itself. And I want to be out there, and I want to see it, and I want to taste it and touch it, and I want to put my stamp on it, and I want to report back, and I want to create more passion in this podcast, more stories to tell, more amazing things to see. And the cool thing about this, just like on Instagram, they can't really take that away. Because on Instagram, it's like you're playing the algorithm. On this one, I see the numbers. Our numbers are growing exponentially all the time. But I don't really see the numbers. I don't really know. Like, I know that some of you guys are listening, and, well, I mean, all of you guys are listening. Every last person listening to this right now is listening. But they're not as direct as Instagram. And Instagram has so many rules. And the podcast is just me being free. Without any quote-unquote hit of dopamine or any sort of instant gratification or reward. I mean, I'm pretty sure that more than 17 people have rated this podcast, but that's a lock. That's a stay. So every single rating on this podcast is still at 17, even if the new ones come in. We don't see them. I'd love for you guys to get out there if you're listening right now and just throw a rating on iTunes or on Spotify. Spotify actually upped their game, even though they're kind of a Weasley company. They, if you follow the show, you definitely get good updates on that, and I like that. I follow my own show, so I see when it gets to go live. That's kind of fun, eh? Following your own show. I love this experience. I love the growth. I love the patterns. I love synchronicities. I love that I think everything's played out and I'm right. And if you think I'm wrong, you're right. And that's really cool. And we can argue about it, and we can talk about it, or we can see where you are in your journey and where I am on my journey. And I'd love to somehow connect with somebody who's a light years ahead of me on their journey. And have them somehow reach back to me and talk to me and tell me, hey man, I know where you've been. I know where you're coming from. I know what you're doing. But guys that are that much more advanced than I am aren't listening to this show. They're out doing intergalactic things that I don't know anything about. But it's cool. And whatever's coming is coming. And you know what keeps circling too is Stargates, that stupid show back in the day. And then of course the movies. And then there's a new TV show on Amazon called Night Sky. Those are all Stargates. And the Stargates just keep popping up everywhere. They're talking about the war in Iraq back in the 90s was because they found a new Stargate, and that was kind of cool. Like, I think Stargates are a thing. Does that mean that I believe in space? Fuck no. I don't believe in space in the least. Not as it's delivered. Does that make me crazy? No. If you want to talk about that, I mean, I can go on for hours about that. And I used to say to myself flat out, there's no space. Stargates is bullshit. Everything's bullshit, right? But listen to that limitation, right? Space is fake. I get it, right? Humanity, we're living in a dome under flat Earth. Globe is fake. And then I'm like, flat Earth is fake. I'm just using the surfer douchebag voice for fun. But once you get past all these limiting beliefs, because you're aggressively trying to make your point, you realize that, man, anything's a possibility. Once everything's bullshit, once you really truly understand, and once you fully grasp that everything's played out and everything's bullshit and everything's repetitive, you hit a certain point of freedom. This level of, holy fuck, anything's possible. Like, if everything's a lie, then anything's possible. And that's such a liberating and cool feeling to have. And a beautiful enjoyment moving into the future. To be able to be like, holy fuck, here we go. Here we go. Something's coming, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. And since we talked about marketing, again, head over to thementalmasteryalliance.com. Take a look at some of our exclusive offers if you want. If you're interested in coaching, hit us up, info at the Mental Mastery Alliance. If you're serious about coaching, hit me up directly, Adam at the Mental Mastery Alliance. If you're serious, if you have any questions, if you want to know what comes next or what you're doing, if you're not happy with your life, and if you want to make a move, you want to make a swing, hit us up. I am taking calls. Again, speaking of taking calls, you can reach us at 647-338-1265. Leave a text message. We'll have it read out on the screen. Voicemail. We'll play your voicemail if it's entertaining and fun. Or if it's thought-provoking. That's in Canada. Again, don't call because it's not toll-free. It is, however, I don't know, whatever the cost of a call is, international, or if you're in Canada, that's a local. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with me today. This was a lot of fun. I had an absolute blast sort of talking and venting, and I can't believe I even squeaked in some Stargate stuff in there. All I can say to you guys is thank you on episode 208. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for giving me a platform. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for growing with me. Just thank you guys, man. You guys are awesome. Absolutely awesome. I love each and every one of you. In the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
Thank you for listening to today's Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag MMA and Mental Mastery Alliance. Want more motivation? Be sure to follow online on Instagram at Mental Mastery Alliance and on Facebook at Mental Mastery Alliance. And remember, your perception creates your reality. Make it a great day.
You got it, Pontiac.